Welcome back to wagertalk.com. It's our question and answer session. You guys send us the questions through Twitter. We answer them right here. We're going to actually do 2 videos this week. This will be part 1 of the question and answer session. Preston, we're going to get things started with Droid43 wants to know, he says, in the NFL, they say defense wins championships. Is there a similar quote about that in baseball? In the one that comes to mind to me, if you have anything jump in, I'm going to say with baseball, good pitching is always going to beat good hitting, especially in a 7-game series.
That's a good one. I hadn't thought of that yet. The only one that came to my mind was there's no crying in baseball. That doesn't even count.
Yeah.
That's a good one, though. Generally, I mean, this day and age, the new hot thing or whatever is to have a really, really strong bullpen. The Royals have shown they can do it. And small ball's kind of, that they do play is kind of taking precedence again to an extent. So I don't know if there's really a quote, though. But I definitely agree. I think if you're going to have pitching that's better than the majority of the hitters, then you're going to be okay most of the time. And, I think it's almost, I mean, it's not necessarily defense, but it kind of is like the defense of the NFL. If your pitching is your defense, and if you have better pitching, then you're going to be winning more often.
It's pretty much, you can just go through all the cliches of all the sports, and you got, the U.S. Opens this week with golf, and it's back in just outside of my hometown in Oakmont, very historic, golf course and that. And, they say in golf, you drive for show, but you putt for the dough. And, so again, another, all kinds of good ones. Thanks for that question, Droid. Kevin sends us a question, and this one at times has driven me absolutely crazy this year. With all the bullpen inconsistencies this year, are either of us looking at more, first 5-inning games, for value? I'll kick it to you first. I definitely have thoughts on this one.
Sure. I have previously, the last few years, tried to dive more into first fives just because you have a sense for a bullpen, whether it's situationally, like you've been talking about the Pirates bullpen being used just to an extreme rate, or whether it's just because the Royals bullpen in the past has been better than so-and-so. And so, why would you ever play Royals first 5 if you have an edge in a bullpen? Personally, on a large enough sample, in my opinion, I didn't really feel like I had an edge. And I ended up just stressing too much about, I should have played first 5 here. I shouldn't have played first 5, and I did. And ultimately, overall, it just never seemed like I was profiting because of the switches either way. This year, I didn't play hardly any first 5s. I actually don't know if I played a single one. And I had like my best baseball year in 3 years. So for me, I don't know if it was just the stress of not worrying about it this season. I probably was just variance or whatever, but we had a good season, and I didn't even actually sweat the first 5s. But I think if there are people that feel more comfortable betting first 5s, that's totally fine too. If you're just starting, I would maybe suggest not worrying about it. If you've been betting full games your whole life, and now you're looking at a first 5s, and sure, like you know what you're doing probably, and you can get a sense for how it'll work for you. But if you're just starting out, I wouldn't actually sweat it too much. I think if you handicap a game or whatever you're doing to line a game, if you think you have an edge on a full game, just bet the full game and don't get too caught up in the stresses of wishing you didn't or did. Yeah.
The majority of my games are full 9 innings, full games, but I do find the spots for the 5 innings, and I think it's like anything else that you've got to look at your handicap and see where your edge is. If you have a tremendous edge in the starters, that 5 innings versus 5 innings, you're going to get, the meat of it, and you're looking at, you're not going to get to that, third time through, the rotation and stuff. So you definitely have, the edge with the starting pitchers. But on the same token, when you're looking at the bullpen situation, unless your bullpen is, at a big disadvantage, and if I like the Pirates, if I like a Garrett Cole, there was a game I used a few weeks back. I liked the matchup with Garrett Cole, but I didn't want to get the bullpens involved. I'm going to take that matchup because I know Cole's going to give me a solid 6, and before I get to the bullpens, and I didn't like who he was going against, I felt that's where my better advantage was. I thought it was a coin flip if it did get to the bullpen. So, you got to look at what you feel the bullpens are, and that's part of the handicap. If you've got an edge in the bullpens, or it's, even, then, you're probably better off taking the full game bet. But I can tell you that this year it has been crazy. Some reliable bullpens, have been blowing up.
Yeah, definitely. One kind of just mathematical, I guess, mindset I had kind of going into this year, or outlook on this was like if you're betting a football or a basketball game and you bet like a first 5 minutes line, or even like a Golden State Warriors first quarter, like the variance within a smaller amount of time is always going to be a lot higher. Right. So if you're like a team to win by 2 in a 12-minute time period versus a 48-minute game, it's going to be a lot different. Over 9 innings, over 48 minutes, you're going to get more of that true line more often. The variance diminishes. And so for me, I thought that maybe that was part of the reason where I felt like I was just flipping coins on first fives the last 2 seasons, is because I felt like I had an edge, but then if I tried to diminish it to a first 5 innings bet, it was actually like almost half of a game, which then just seems actually to be a little more wild. So that was one thought that I had while you were talking that I didn't mention earlier. I wanted to kind of just point out for those that can understand that concept.
All right, we're going to carry the rest of the questions over for part 2 of the question and answer session. And guys, don't forget, each and every Tuesday at Wager Talk, it's $2 Tuesday. We highlight one capper and offer his best bet for just $2. You can get his best bet that day for $2. It's a great way to introduce yourself to a new capper, or to the site itself if you haven't bought a pick before. Check it out each and every Tuesday, $2 Tuesday at wagertalk.com. We'll be back with more here at Wager Talk.